Good morning, everyone. It's exposition time. I'd say not a ton of episodes start off with pure rage, but here we have Tarapago straight mean-mugging Amethio, the latter of whom actually shows a soft side, speaking to it very gently, which manages to calm it down. To me, it seems like Amethio is showing a lot of emotional intelligence, which could be his downfall. But before we get to that, we gotta get out of the cave, while Liko thinks upon her other ships, friends. Elsewhere, Rory is quite tense, and I really appreciate seeing his deep concern for Liko. It's sort of like, hold me back, Dot, hold me back. The battle starts with Coral and Sidian, but this feels a little bit more like time killing. Like, I will not complain about a good battle, I just feel like this lacks the impact set up by the last episode. There are actually several places I feel that way about. Strategically though, realizing their type advantage gives them enough confidence to stay in the fight. Plus, Sidian can finally pay back Dot for snubbing him at the Anything Eatery. So, if there was ever a question, to me this firmly establishes Amethio as the main character of the Explorers. He's getting all this face time with our protagonist and just way more development than the others. So yeah, if no movie, then at least give us some Amethio OVAs. And with this scene, I really do think silence can be just as important as music. It just perfectly helps to capture that feeling of isolation. I say all that knowing I'll probably have something droning in the background, but it seems like one thing Spinel did accomplish was calming Amethio down by putting him in this timeout. This manufactured situation really allows the two to have a pretty civil conversation. Everything from ambitions to insecurities. For example, Liko explains with palpable disappointment why she couldn't terrestrialize during their match. And unlike most men, Amethio listens. No, he definitely isn't evil, or he certainly would have seized the opportunity to take the turtle. Plus, he even gets into his own personal life, going into how it's his grandpa's dream to get to Rakawa, and Amethio is simply trying to make that happen, which it seems like Liko can relate to as she's somewhat carrying her grandma's dream as well. They're both shouldering these familial obligations, but thankfully they're only passing on generational Pokémon instead of trauma. Observantly, they notice a breeze, which means there's gotta be an exit. A perfectly timed exit as they wrapped up this heart-to-heart. Generally, I think this was important to see because I believe Amethio is going to turn over a new leaf, and we can partially thank Liko's Talk No Jutsu for it. So, once the cave's weakness is discovered, it's time to take action. A neat bonus is even getting to see Hatena participate. I mean, hey, I'll take these crumbs. The two finally get out, and aw, what a gentleman he is. Certainly this won't have any repercussions. Liko attempts to convey to him how the Rising Bolt Tacklers have changed her life, and maybe they could do the same for him. But Amethio's not trying to hear that. He has his own convictions to hold to. Despite opening up to each other, they still part on not the best terms. Now, I do wish Rory and Dot had been seen putting up a better fight so it could seem like the gym matches actually gave them experience, although I suppose that would make Grusha's appearance a bit less heroic. I mean, this is sort of like his redeeming moment, saving the kids after breaking Liko's heart. Still, I'd say it felt anticlimactic though, since the others weren't even willing to take Grusha on. Sometimes the Explorers have this habit of just leaving when things start to get good. It is such a tease. Speaking of teases though, big reveal that Sidian has an Aerodactyl. A fossil Pokemon you know Ane-Poke is gonna get its money out of. Eventually, Grusha helps to peck Liko out and she gets to reunite with everyone. Felt like it could have been a good moment for a group hug, but alas. They get to see Grusha off, and I won't say pointless, but Fried certainly makes an appearance. Sadly, he does not get the epic Spinel match I was anticipating. In fact, he doesn't even join the kids on their trek to the top. I will say though, this was a pretty wonderful moment, really embodying the expanse of the Pokemon world, where out there, things are starting to hit the fan. Back with the Explorers, you'd think Spinel would be the one who'd come under fire, but in addition to being evil, he's also a snitch. He shamelessly exposes Amethio's one moment of kindness and frames him as a traitor. It's just crazy since after all this, now Gibeon can't even stand to look at Amethio. All it took was just one moment to shatter their trust and get Amethio removed from the mission. That is mainly what I want to talk about here. The episode overall, I think, misses a few points for me in setting up some things that I think pan out sort of haphazardly, but this moment with Amethio has raised the intrigue, since what does this mean for him? I highly doubt he's just gonna go seek out the Rising Bolt Tacklers for refuge, so maybe he's gonna become a lone wolf. Potentially, he could start acting independent as a way to regain his grandpa's trust. And Spinel just continues to be a wicked highlight. Like, could you imagine what doing something like this would do to a kid's trust? Having his own grandpa, much less forgiving than Giovanni, side with the guy who tried to murk him? There could also be a huge sense of irony given that I think Spinel is definitely going to betray Gibeon too. It's all pretty wild and definitely plot points worth mulling over. So, overall, I would give this one a very high C.